Whether you want to be the first person to parallel 5 a card or get PXP fast to finish Team Affinity or other programs, or just get the attribute boosts from paralleling a card quickly, I want to go over what I think are the fastest ways to get parallel XP for both hitters and pitchers in MLB 25. So obviously you can use these PXP methods whenever you want, but they are especially effective during these double PXP weeks that we've been getting throughout the year. And as I record this video, we are in one right now, so definitely take advantage of it when these PXP weeks come up. And before we get into the methods, let's just go over a couple important quick things to note when it comes to earning PXP and the amount that you get. So we know you earn PXP at a normal rate with the offline modes, but then there is that 1.5 multiplier for the online mode, so you just will get more PXP while playing online. And then it doesn't say so on the screen, but in the past, there has been a higher multiplier for the higher the difficulty that you're actually playing on. And I would assume it seems like it's the same this year from what I've been able to tell. So basically you will get more PXP not only for online play, but also for the higher the difficulty, whether it's online or offline, you will get more PXP for that as well. And this year, we actually get slightly more PXP per plate appearance with the hitters. It's up to 30 now, where I think last year it might have been like 20 or 25. But let's go over all the quickest methods for getting PXP now with pitchers and hitters. I will go over the pitcher methods first. So if you guys want to just see the hitter methods, you can skip ahead a minute or two in the video to just see those. So let's go over the fastest PXP methods for pitchers. And I'm actually going to give an online and offline mode method, so you guys can kind of just choose whatever you want to do. Starting off with the online mode one, when you use a pitcher in an online game, you guys will notice that the stamina will be drained after you pitch with them. However, there's a little bit of a loophole in an online mode, which I'm showing you guys right now, and that is events. And events is probably the best online mode for grinding PXP for pitchers because you can pitch a 3-inning game with the pitcher you want the PXP for, and then after each game, you can forfeit. So like we're in one right now, right? But you can actually forfeit this entry after the game you pitch in, and this will restart your entry. You can go into a new entry for free, and then that pitcher's stamina will be back up to normal. So then you can just go into another game and pitch again with that pitcher in that 3-inning game. And you're, as we said before, this is a multiplayer mode, so that extra multiplier bonus for PXP will kick in. So you'll be earning at an even higher rate. And then also, most events are going to be on all-star difficulty, so this will also give you more PXP than what playing on an even lower difficulty would. Something else to note is that not every event will you be able to use a pitcher you're hoping to parallel up because there's certain restrictions on cards depending on the event. So there's a chance this method won't work for the pitcher that you're hoping to parallel up, and you might have to wait for the next event, or instead, just do the offline method that I will go over right now. And that offline method, if for pitchers, right, we're staying on pitchers, is in play versus CPU. And basically, what I want to do here is choose the difficulty. So you want a higher difficulty because you'll be earning slightly more PXP, but you also don't want it to be too high where you're not like getting strikeouts and stuff, because strikeouts gives a ton of PXP. So normally I would like to do this if I do this on all-star difficulty. Make sure you choose home team so you can pitch first. Everything else for setting up doesn't matter that much. I guess you could pick a pitcher-friendly ballpark if you want, and then just pick the pitcher that you obviously want to get PXP for. But then the first tip I would have once you're in the game, and to slightly speed up the process, I like to intentionally walk the first hitter of the inning so you can pitch out of the stretch, just because the pitcher's delivery will be quicker out of the stretch, and this way you're just kind of flying through these innings much quicker. One more thing that I would recommend that you could do too, just to kind of, it doesn't really speed up the process, but it just makes it a little bit easier, more mindless, and it would be to switch the pitching controls from whatever you're using over to classic. Basically what this does is literally you just have to press a button and it pitches for you, right? So you don't have to focus on the pinpoint or whatever you use for each pitch. You can just mindlessly, push the button quickly and not have to think about, your pinpoint for each and every pitch, because you're going to be throwing lots of pitches if you are trying to get your card, let's say up to P5. So definitely recommend that too. What you can do then when you have to hit is just bunt with all your batters to allow you to just fly through all of these innings and just earn the pitcher's PXP as quickly as you can. And you can play through the entire play versus CPU game, or if the stamina bar on the pitcher you're trying to get PXP for is down pretty low towards the end of the game, you could quit out after finishing the inning you're in and then jump back into another game so their stamina bar resets and you can repeat this process. I sometimes like quitting out because if the stamina bar gets low and you're playing on a higher difficulty, then the game can begin to drag on because the CPU can start to get more hits and it can also get more difficult to actually control your pitches. So that's pretty much it for the online and offline methods for PXP grinding for pitchers. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. Otherwise, let's go ahead and move on to the hitter methods. So the PXP methods I'll go over for hitters will be a good method whether you're just grinding for P5 for one hitter or maybe you want to get parallel XP for a bunch of hitters in your lineups. This will work for either way. But let's start off like we did with the pitchers with the online method. And typically I find the offline PXP methods, grinding methods are better for hitters because just I can rack up, home runs and everything way easier in offline. However, the best and quickest way to get hitter PXP online is through the Moonshot event. Whenever the Moonshot event comes out, because usually you can use any overall hitter and you face off against common pitchers. So it's going to be really easy to pad all of your stats to be hitting tons of home runs, extra base hits. Plus you will get that bonus PXP multiplier for playing online. So this online multiplier plus facing a bunch of common pitchers is a really good method for gaining a ton of PXP quickly. But then shifting our focus over to an offline hitter method for PXP, the fastest one, I'm going to actually go over two technically, but the fastest one is in play versus CPU. The other one I want to touch on at the end will still be good, but it'll be a little bit more rewarding in other ways. But basically what I want to do is what I like to do at least is be the away team at Coors Field against the Rockies. You can be the home team and you can choose a custom stadium, but I don't know, I just like playing away so I can hit first. If you choose a custom stadium, you will have to pitch first. So I do like to be away. And then, just set your lineup. Put all at the top of your order. You want to put in all of the guys that you want the parallel XP for. So Brendan Donovan, let's just say, I'm trying to grind for P5. So I'll put him at the leadoff spot so I can get him the most amount of at-bats as I possibly can. And I don't think I mentioned anything about the difficulty that you should be hitting on yet. And I usually just do rookie because I can hit so many home runs, but whatever you're most comfortable on, right? If you're more comfortable and you're more used to playing on veteran and you're good on veteran or all-star, you'll do that, right? You can still be hitting plenty of home runs. You're more comfortable on that and you might be getting slightly more PXP depending on the level of difficulty, right? So that's important. So when you're in a game, one of the most important things to know, in order to get credit for the PXP that you get from playing this game, you need to hit with a minimum of 8 of your batters before you can quit out of the game and still have this PXP count. Only hitting with, let's just say, 1 or 2 batters and then quitting the game after you hit a home run will not actually get you that PXP progress at all. So typically what I like to do is, let's just go out to this screen right here to show you. So what I like to do is, I like to get through my minimum 8 hitters, obviously, right? So I like to hit through the order once. Then I have my guys I want to get PXP for at the very top of my order. So what I like to do is, let's just say Brendan Donovan's the one player I'm trying to get parallel XP for. I hit a second time with Brendan Donovan, and then right after I hit with him, I go out and quit the game. So basically, I'll get PXP for the 2 at-bats, and then I'll quit the game, get all that credit, go back into the game, and I'll basically be in the game and hit with Brendan Donovan again right away. So this way, and then just basically rinse and repeat. So I'm basically maximizing the amount of at-bats as possible with this Brendan Donovan card because I'm hitting twice with them, exiting out, getting the credit for the PXP, going back into the game, and then boom, I'm hitting with him again. So that is basically how you're getting PXP super quickly for this method that I just went over. So I mentioned there's another offline method for hitter PXP grinding, and that is through mini seasons. Now, basically, this won't be as fast or efficient as a PXP method, but it's going to be very good because you're still able to get tons of PXP from playing on rookie difficulty with your hitters and putting them at the top of your lineup. It's just going to be more rewarding in other ways because you're going to be able to knock out some of the goals that are in mini seasons and get some packs and stubs that way. But basically, let's go over the goals quickly, right? So you could be playing these games and you could be winning some of these games. There's a lot of stats in here, like tallying a certain amount of extra base hits, home runs, whatever it might be that are in here, strikeouts, stolen bases. So you can kind of knock out a lot of these if you would like to, and it's just a way of getting packs, a little bit more rewarding, a little bit of a different grind than play versus CPU that other people might prefer. So just wanted to mention it. And something to know when you actually go into the games is you're either going to be the away team, which you'll play at whatever stadium they have, or you can be the home team. And for home games, you could, again, you can choose a rookie difficulty or whatever difficulty, but you can choose, an MLB stadium, or you can download and pick a custom stadium to play at where the walls are short, where there's high elevation, and you can play on one of these, making, home run hitting and everything maybe a little bit easier on these custom stadiums. And because these games are so short and you probably will just hit a couple times, maybe 3 times with each player, you might as well just play the full game so you are able to get a couple at-bats per game with your players, unlike quitting out in play versus CPU. So if you guys have any questions about any of the hitter or pitcher PXP methods we went over in today's video, let me know down in the comment section below. But that's pretty much it. That is how you get PXP very quickly. That's how normally the methods I use if I want PXP quickly or want a P5 cards. Let me know down below, like I said, in the comments if you have any questions, comments, concerns. That's going to be it for this one. Appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end and watching. See you next time. Peace out.